Hey everybody, this is Perch, and I know there's an echo here, and hopefully I'm able to correct it a little bit. Yes, I know it sounds like I'm in the bathroom. I'm not in the bathroom. No, I'm in a small room, wood floor, some walls, nothing on the walls, no plants or anything to kind of dampen the sound, and so we've got this echo. So yeah, I'm gonna go buy some kind of felt plants and put some picture frames. You know what? You don't care about any of this. Anyway, I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm in the bathroom, but I am not. Here's where a little toilet flush sound effect would be great, but nope, just in a room with a wood floor. This is what happens when you record in a place like this. So I got a question from an individual who's come in here, AVXP, and I'm not sure how to pronounce exactly that name, but basically, before we get to the question, he mentions he's an indie publisher, does things mostly on digital, and he's got a flagship comic series called Force 6, The Annihilators. There's seasons for it. It looks like there's 3 seasons that are out, I'm thinking, because he gave me a little sneak at season 4, which is awesome. Appreciate that. And I will definitely take a look at it. But, if you're interested, go to issuu.com. There's a bunch of different digital comics and things there, it looks like, and check out Force 6. So Force 6 is his comic, and I'm doing it blind. I just appreciate the guy's question, and after I get done recording this video, I'll go check it out myself. So if it's horrifying, don't blame me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure it'd be great. From the little quick look I did, it looks like some interesting stuff. And he's got some fan fiction stuff up there too, which looks like it's pretty high quality for fan fiction. It gave me a moment where I couldn't tell if I was looking at something legitimate or not, which is always a good compliment. Anyway. So he's got a question, which is a good one, which is basically, what is my official stance on comic TV shows? I don't see any takes on Marvel's and DC's TV shows. And if you're strictly comics, what do you think about being true to the source versus a translation for the medium? It's a good question. And I have done a few, but not many of the TV shows. I think I did some stuff on Watchmen, so that tells you how long ago it was. No, I take that back. I did Falcon Winter Soldier with Joe and Ryan, which was a lot of fun. But, here's my take on this. And this is an area where I feel like it's funny because I've said this a million times. When I do videos about manga, people always say, well, don't forget this. And it's like, I haven't forgotten. I talk about it all the time. One of the things that helps drive manga forward is its close relationship to anime. And anime typically are very close, meaning almost zero change to the original manga in the anime. And it does happen. There's definitely some anime out there that makes story changes and other things, but generally it's a very, very close translation. And it benefits the manga quite a bit because you basically have a two-pronged approach to get somebody interested in the property. Maybe they came in from manga, maybe they came in from anime. They start watching or reading one, then they want to go check out the other. And so you basically get a double dip with this property. And one of the things that I think Marvel and DC have really dropped the ball on is with cheaper animation, it would be dead simple to do, anime style adaptations of some of the bigger comic series. I mean, you could go from when Chris Claremont first came on X-Men and do a, anime series that's very close. The challenge is a lot of people who make the shows feel compelled to deviate from the source material. And it's because of a lot of kind of, homegrown logic that really doesn't hold up. Like, nobody will want to just see a cartoon that's exactly like the comic book, or the comic book doesn't age well, or any number of things. Or sometimes, like they did with the Astonishing X-Men, they do the motion comics, but that's where they do too true, or basically they're taking the original art from the comic and they're just kind of moving things around on the screen to make it a motion comic, and those kind of suck. I'm talking, make cartoons, make anime that is direct translation of some of the more popular series. I mean, imagine right now Immortal Hulk, the 50 issue, it's a finite series that Al Ewing did. Imagine if they got a, Taiwanese studio to basically, put out a series, basically translating the comic one-to-one as an anime. It would be very, very popular. And I think it would be something that would drive sales of the comic. I think it would easily make its money in the cartoon. And I think when you have streaming services like Disney Plus and HBO Max, it's weird that they're pushing really hard completely into original content And it's fine that they do some of that, but in addition, they should do some translations. It would be smart. Now, I recognize that may not have been the exact question you asked. I do think there's been a variety of TV shows. If you look at the Netflix shows that Marvel has done, I think Daredevil did fairly well. I didn't like Jessica Jones. I know a lot of other people did. I like David Tennant. I just wasn't into Jessica Jones 1 or 2. Luke Cage was okay. I liked Luke Cage. Didn't like Iron Fist like everyone else. I thought The Punisher was really good. I thought that one was for Netflix was good, and I'm sure I'm forgetting something. The Defenders didn't really care for the mashup Defenders series, but anyway, I thought season 1 and 2 of Daredevil was great. Season 3, as I recall, was not as good, if I'm remembering it correctly. But that's that's where that sits. I think that if you go further, you go way back to the original Bill Bixby Hulk series that was out there. I think they can be their own thing. I don't care when you're doing live action, then definitely I think you need to translate for the medium. I think with cartoons, you can do one-to-one, and you should, or at least you should do a few of them that way. But with live action, I think you need to translate. But again, here's where I'm a purist. I am opposed to gender and race swapping characters from cartoon or comic to TV. I understand that's appealing to a lot of studios, particularly when they're translating stuff from the 70s. It may have been more predominantly white. I get it. However, I always feel it takes away from the experience. And I think, Michael B. Jordan in Fantastic Four was forgettable and crap. And then you look at his, what he did as Killmonger in Black Panther, and it was a show-stealing performance. So, I think that you should bite the bullet. You should try and get characters more true to their origins. I do hate it when they come in and they radically change the characters around. And I think if you're going to change from comic book to movie or comic book to TV show, then I think you need to do it right. You need to enhance for the medium, not just change for the medium. And a lot of cases when they make changes, it doesn't add to the story. If anything, it takes away from the story. And the end result is nobody cares. The end result is something that nobody really, really wants. And so I think that's where a lot of this sits. I'm not opposed to translation. I think it's necessary in a lot of cases with live action. But I think you should do it purposefully. You should do it where you're improving the end product, not, as we see a lot of the time, actually coming out with an inferior product. So that's my take on it. I wish there was more. I think there's a lot more you can do, for sure. I think that I think it's a medium that's unexplored, especially for animation. I think that in the US, there's a stigma that animation equals kids. I think things like the Harley Quinn cartoon helps change that. But where the US needs to just kind of shut up and pay attention to what's going on in Japan very successfully is, if you can make a cartoon based off of a very hot comic series, one-to-one, hell, if they did maybe that's the next step for Skybound, do The Walking Dead directly translated from the cartoon. They're doing Invincible fairly close. They've definitely made changes, no doubt about it. And in many cases, those changes are awkward. The change of Amber, and not just making her, Amber black, but just a change to the personality. There's a little reminder saying, hey, you got a little call you have to take in 5 minutes. Anyway, sorry about that. I always try and shut these things off, but you're used to beeps and echoes and all kinds of shit audio at this point, right? Anyway, I think changing Amber black was actually not as egregious as changing her personality. And in that case, it's funny. Why did they change things? By and large, Invincible is a fairly faithful, translation of the comic. But the changes they did make, by and large, aren't great. They're not going to help the series evolve in the future. I think that, if anything, it's going to be detrimental. But anyway, that's my answer to your question. It's a good one. I'm curious what the other people listening think, so let us know in the comments below. I'm very curious what you have to say. Like and subscribe, of course, as always, and thanks for listening.